Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rome Total War, the Britons campaign. So, it's just the aftermath of the siege of Numantia. We have our generals and our warriors being retrained and re-recruited before leaving a small garrison here to guard the Spanish colony and marching all the way to northern Italy to finish off the Gauls, which hopefully I will do or mostly do this episode. I've got reinforcements coming in from the British Isles and the rest of our settlements here to make their way to Italy. A weaponsmith will soon be finished in Alesia, which should allow us to start training heavy chariots. And I've also realised another thing. If we look at our family tree, Meriadoc, our general here, who I found to be quite a promising general who was born in Londinium, just so happens to be Calpurnius' brother. Calpurnius, who we thought was the chosen one till he got stuck on a band of war bands and killed. Belenus, and he's also the son, being that he's the son of the faction leader. So who's the faction heir again? Sinfor, who's a very promising faction heir, but he's 50 years old. Our faction leader is 49. So it's a fair chance that Sinfor might die before Belenus. And Meriadoc, being the brother of Calpurnius and quite a promising young warrior, I think he might actually make a good faction heir. I mean, we've got other good warriors. We've got... well, definitely not you. You've got doubtful courage. We're never going to have leaders who have doubtful courage. I'm sure there was someone else. You're quite good. Prastigas, you're a bit younger. But no, you're... oh no. No, that's -1 morale. That's definitely not good. I think you're going to be our faction heir. I mean, poor Sinfor, he's a great warrior. Look at all this. He's fantastic. But if I change the faction heir, he's going to have the disinherited trait, which is going to reduce his influence by 1. But he's not a manager. He's a warrior. He's untouched by fear. So you know what? Meriadoc, you could be the chosen one. You can succeed where Calpurnius failed. And you can tell he's his brother because they have the same moustache and the same hat. Or helmet. So yes. You shall be our faction heir. So unfortunately, you're all disinherited. -1 influence. But he's still got good influence. And of course, here we have Vindex, came of age at the same time as Meriadoc. Unfortunately, Meriadoc isn't exactly as, say, distinctive a name as Calpurnius, but it does have the same sort of sound. Vindex, he's a bit lazy. He doesn't have much to his name, but he's married to the one and only Boadicea. And as soon as that happened, he became fruitful. A discreet silence about that matter is in order. But we shall move to the next turn, and we shall begin the march to Italy. Right, so I've started to move all of our reinforcements steadily down to the south of France, so reinforcements. And the good news is Alesia has finally completed its weaponsmith. So now we can recruit heavy chariots from here without needing to ship them over the channel. We've still got one more coming in from Londinium next turn, who I'll have shipped over. So a couple of other notable things. A small German force has once again started poking its head around Alesia. I don't think it's large enough, 3 units. I don't think that's large enough to take out a town with twice its garrison. We've also got a slightly larger one around Narbo Martis, alongside another Julii force, which has just landed here, which is a wee bit annoying. But right, that's just a fort. That's not going to be a problem. This is all Spanish territory. So either way, unfortunately, it turns out I missed a unit of swordsmen for retraining, but we can always get them retrained further on along here, or replace them with chosen swordsmen. So Drustan, You are going to be given the duty of guarding Numantia, just in case the Spanish or the Carthaginians get any ideas. And if they do, you will be the one to spearhead the retaliation strike against their settlements. But everyone else, I'm going to leave the cavalry here. We've got plenty of chariots coming in. Everyone else, make your way back. Numantia's got recruitment facilities for basic swordsmen anyway. And that shows a port all the way up here. Speaking of which, we need to keep our boats sailing all around the whole Spanish area, past the Rock of Gibraltar, until they get to the Mediterranean, where they can be far more useful. Now, I don't particularly like having the Julii bumming around here. By the way, this settlement's perfectly okay. In terms of public order with this garrison, we might get some extra swordsmen trained here, just to provide a bit of heavy infantry backup. These guys will make this. There's no roads around here, so it's going to take them a while to make the march. But I don't think there's a huge amount left to do. Got another trained unit of chosen swordsmen. We're also going to be building a circle of Andrasta, who will provide even more experience bonuses. Absolutely marvellous. Aside from that, though, there's not a huge amount happening. We've still got our spy investigating these areas, keeping an eye on... Oh, they've got silver weaponry. If that means they've been trained in these areas with or bigger training and recruitment and upgrading facilities, that means I can station my troops here for heavy upgrades before pushing down towards Italy, which will be marvellous. Either way, I don't think much is going to happen for the next few turns unless anyone attacks me. I don't particularly like the amount of armies just wandering around the territory of Narbo Martis. We've got one Julii unit, one Julii smallish army, and a German force. Plus we've got a small German force walking towards Lemanum, which isn't the most well guarded settlement. I've got some more swordsmen being trained there just in case. Plus we've got a German army waiting to ambush right there. Their allies, I'm really hoping they don't have anything planned, because that would scupper my intentions for Italy. But you never know, we are a pretty tempting target for them, seeing as how we share a lot of borders. But we'll have to see. Either way, the armies have nearly reached these territories, and Meriadoc has almost reached the staging ground at Massilia, and our Doomstack army with Belenus and Sinfau are almost there as well. Just a few more turns and we should be good to go. Well, would you look at this? The Carthaginians talking to me. And this is perfect. They're offering, I don't think they have much in the way of territory, but they're offering an alliance, trade rights and map information. By all means. And, well... Germany! Yo, dicks! Well, in terms of Carthage, they only have one settlement left from the looks of it, and that's their Spanish territory, so they probably want an alliance with me just to be safe. So, 2 spear war bands and an axeman versus... Hang on. Versus 1 unit of chosen swordsmen and whoever... I believe these are both chosen swordsmen, or perhaps heavy chariots. Either way, Germany's betrayed us. They betrayed our alliance. So that means our plans for Italy will have to be on hold for a little while. And it's a good thing I've been keeping garrisons at these 2 settlements, because they'd be next on the targets. So yeah, it's 2 units of chosen swordsmen. And I think I forgot, there's an option somewhere. I think in the map there's an option to actually turn off these time limit things. I'll have to check that. Either way, they outnumber us. They're going to be the ones coming forward. I want my guys to actually meet up. Either way, they're chosen swordsmen, they're heavily armoured, and if we can get round to flank these phalanxes, we should have a shot. These are axemen, they will, I think they have a bonus against armour, but if we can at least cause a rout, we should perhaps have a chance at this. But we're probably going to take some casualties, which is annoying because Alessia is probably one of the only places around where we can retrain these guys. Okay, I need to try and get round these guys. Give them a good war cry. Ah. Thing is, they've got one phalanx for each of us. Ah, that's good. We're going to hit these guys in the back perfectly. Now, they are going to flank us, but it's going to take them a little while to get to us. And maybe... Come on, hurry up. Okay, run this way. Get away from them. Whoops. No. Don't get caught. Get back. Come on. They're turning around. Good. Chop them up. Okay, they put their spears down. That's going to hurt. But then we can hit them in the back again. They're wavering. Don't go for those guys. Good, they're routing. Chop them. And thankfully, the axemen didn't seem that concerned with. No, not you. Not. Hit them in the back. They're turning around. They put their spears down the wrong way. Right, we have taken some casualties. One of the swordsmen is badly wounded, and they've reformed. Damn it! Come on! For whatever reason, they're walking completely the wrong direction, which is apparently confusing you guys. So maybe this is their ulterior motive, to confuse you. Okay, you keep chasing them. You're the weaker unit. Give them a war cry first. I don't know what those guys are doing, but... Okay, so it's an even match of numbers. These guys are doing whatever they're doing. Okay, we've killed a couple more of them than they have of us. So we've got the war cry, but they're routing. Good. Cut them down. Those guys, they might reform. What on earth are they doing? Have they already reformed? No, they're broken. Chase them down again. Leave those guys beefing now. If they're just going to walk away like that. No! The spears! You fools! I should have known that would happen. Somehow I'm very good at getting my men to walk into phalanxes. Okay, we're going to we should hit these guys from two directions. Germany, what are you doing? You're just having your troops run around doing odd things. Okay, this is definitely going to make them break, being hit from two sides. And wavering. Come on. They're retreating. Cut them down a little bit more if you can. My troops need a moment to rest. Those guys are very tired, so we should be able to run them down. We're tired. They've got 4 left. They shouldn't be reforming. Right, you guys reform up here. Take a breather. And then we just need to finish off these phalanxes. Okay, we're going to catch these guys. Nice, they just stood there for whatever reason. They haven't put their spears down. They're routing. They've got 10 units left. Hopefully, they won't reform, though it's a possibility that they will once they meet up with those guys. Either way, because phalanxes are just walking. These guys are fresh, and they've still got some numbers left, so they are going to put up a fight. So we want the weaker guys to go uphill. Hopefully that slope will give a very slight charge bonus. Either way, one of these guys is going to be able to hit them in the sides. Oh, this is perfect. Hit them in the back. Give a walk right. No, they've turned around. Come on. Enough war crying. They've put their spears down. Oh, there's just the standard bearer charging in on his own. We're okay. They're warmed up. They're shaken. Gotcha!
The army runs. Now hunt them down.
Let's just see if we can get a few good kills here. Just chase it down. We're not going to be able to kill them all, but if we can just weaken them enough, maybe we can get the army to rout and break. But they're going to get away because we're tired and they're not. Either way, we were outnumbered, but we claimed victory. That's something. So, they outnumbered us quite significantly, but we still got a hell of a lot of kills. At long last, Tara, our Irish settlement, has now grown enough to have a warlord's hold. And all this. So, Spain and Carthage are at war with each other. That means they're no longer my ally. Oh, Carthage! Damn it, if I'd have realised that would have happened, I wouldn't have accepted it. I would have accepted the trade rights and map information, but not the alliance, because I'd have rather had Spain as an ally. Because now they're going to be more inclined to backstab me. Either way, we've now got Germany to worry about, so I'm going to need to get some reinforcements trained up in my settlements here to make sure that they have a garrison able to withstand sieges. And these guys here, damn it. Well, I'm not sure if they these guys are minor cities. They may have the training facilities needed for chosen swordsmen. I'd hope so, at least. And of course, Captain Quintus blocking the way to... It's just one unit though, we should be able to chase him off. But no, we've got more German armies and such blocking off my reinforcements. Alright, Doomstack, Belenus, make your way over here. You're nearly within reach of Rhodes. But now we can make our empire look a little bit smoother now by taking over this town here. Then we can send in reinforcements from Alessia much easily. Speaking of which, heavy chariots. No longer needing to ship them over the channel. So this is the current situation. I've grouped up the wounded swordsmen alongside some fresh swordsmen and chariots in this one army here for a bit of extra security. I've got another set of heavy chariots here. I've got my Doomstack with Belenus here. 2 generals and a whole load of swordsmen. 2 more generals and some swordsmen and such in Narbo Martis. And 3 more generals, including some swordsmen and head hurlers in Macedonia. And Meriadoc with some heavy chariots and chosen swordsmen right here. So not only I've got very small forces just wandering around blocking off our areas, but I can get these guys to meet up with Belenus's army and Sinfor. They can clear out the area around Narbo Martis, meet up with Meriadoc, and then we'll gather some generals together, take over these towns, take over this German town. I'm not sure if that will encourage them to make a ceasefire, but I can just have some garrisons in these cities to guard them, to ward off attacks, while still focusing with my normal plans for Italy, because I still want to focus on the Romans. I want to knock them down so they're not a threat before the Marian reforms happen, because that's when they can become a much bigger threat. Actually, scratch that plan. He's actually kind of vulnerable out there on his own, so I'm going to have him hold out at Narbo Martis for the time being, just in case one of these guys get any ideas. He's a badass, but I don't want to risk his life unnecessarily. Look at that! Meriadoc has gotten married. Who is that? Who is the lucky woman? It is Hutik. She's 12 years old. Ugh, man. Still, it was the norm in those days, unfortunately. And yes, well, we've got a couple new young lads on the way under Sendi, whatever. We just need to wait and see what happens when our factionaire starts to produce children and such. So now it's time to get these guys met up. Here's our doom stack. So, our two badass elderly men, Belinus and Sidfor, some heavy chariots, 3 units of swordsmen, 2 sadly wounded, 2 units of heavy chariots, and a whole load of swordsmen with the heavy chariots. Got some good upgrades in experienced weapons and armour. These guys are going to go down here, meet up with Meriadoc and his forces, heavy chariots and swordsmen and such. We're going to knock the Julii out of this area. Then we're going to take over that German town to show them why they shouldn't have betrayed us. Then go to Italy. Damn it, Germany. I wasn't going to attack you anytime soon. You just had to do what you did. I've also just spoken with the Dacians. They only appear to have 2 territories to their name and... damn it! The Gauls are up here. Well, so much for them being wiped out once I took over these 2 settlements. I don't know, maybe once we focus on the Romans I can send a splinter force up here. I wouldn't expect this to be too well guarded unless it's been recently conquered. Either way, that's a slight scupper to my plans. But heyo, we'll make do. And Tara has a warlord's hold, so now it can finally start to be somewhat useful. What have we got here? I think last turn the House of Julii in Spain just declared a ceasefire. Now they're at war again. Meanwhile, I just spoke with the Dacians and the Scipii are at war with them. Either way, now that Tara has a warlord's hold, it can finally get a port so we can start trading properly, which should increase income in the British Isles quite substantially. In the meantime here, Captain Placus, with his force of Astarte and Velites, are about to sincerely regret landing in our territory. So, how much space have we got? 3 slots, perfect. Meriadoc and his chariots and chosen swordsmen can join up with the main force here. And here we are. Our big doom stack. What's the bet he's going to run? What do you know? And he's run too far away from us to take him on, of course. Damn it, I really wish the barbarians in vanilla Rome Total War had access to better roads, but sadly, no. So, it is quite slow going, but we will get there one day, and it will be worth it, I swear. For some reason, every single spy in the world appears to be focused on us. Every single turn, I get at least 1 or 2 notifications saying agent found. Germany, the Julii, the Gauls and all that, sending spies into my settlements left, right and centre. Ah, another marriage. Woo, whoever you are. One thing I've also noticed is that the rate at which I'm earning money is starting to go down. Which probably means that I'm pretty much at the limits of what I can afford. Yeah, my army upkeep's up quite a bit. I can afford it, it's just I'm also spending quite a bit of money on building buildings everywhere and recruiting new forces. So I'm probably going to try and hold off from recruiting until we secure another couple of settlements, such as this German one here. I might get a few more troops stationed in Alessia just to make sure it's secure. But aside from that, I think it's time to finally chase down this guy. Is it worth it though? We've got a larger Julii threat here. This guy's got a family member in him. Marcus Julius, the faction heir of all people. This guy isn't really much of a threat. He's just Astarte and Velites. He's not going to be able to threaten Narbo Martis. If we can kill this guy, though. Plus, it will take us closer towards this German town. And he's not going to stand and fight. Oh, perfect. Die. Thank you, German army. It gave us the push we needed. So what's he got? Astarte, Velites, and Equites. Astarte will melt to my swordsmen, the Velites will melt to anything, and the Equites will melt to my chariots. And since I've got heavy chariots here, I don't need to risk the generals. I can still send them in though. Either way, let's put these guys to use. So, quite a hilly area, and unfortunately, despite waiting 3 times, it's still heavy snow. But that won't affect us too much because we're not using any indirect fire. And unfortunately, since they've got their backs to the mountains, they've got a big hillside advantage, so I want to deploy in a way that allows me to get up this hill quickly, so I can fight them on an evenish playing field. And unfortunately, with me being the absolute doofus that I am, I forgot to check to see if I could turn off the battle timer. Either way, I don't think the timer really has much effect unless I'm in the middle of a very big city siege, which won't happen for a while, until we get to Rome. Either way, they've got themselves a nice little hill there, so they do have slight hilltop advantage, but they don't have a huge amount in the way of indirect fire. I'm going to try and make sure that the only thing their cavalry can charge is my chariots, which won't end well for them. And also, unfortunately, since my men have to march up a long hill, they're already getting tired. Well, they're warmed up right now, but they're probably going to be winded by the time they Yep, they're winded. So we're going to have to wait a little while, line up in my battle line just to make sure that my guys are well rested. Whoa. Okay, they're just reforming. No biggie. Okay, now they're coming for me. Stop. Right, since I've got since 2 of my 4 units of chosen swordsmen are wounded and they're not coming forward, I'm putting them at the back to serve as a reserve line, since I can't retrain them yet. I'm going to move forward just a little bit more and try to line up with them a little better. I'm also then going to send the chariots forward to try and lure out their cavalry. It's time to put the heavy chariots to use, you think? Yeah. And look at that, they're retreating back to their hill. It's their safe space. Their happy space. Not for long, Julii. You walk into my territory, you need to be ready to pay the price. And I just realised I got that wounded unit of swordsmen there as well. Well, he's got chosen swordsmen there to back him up. So I've got my generals on this side in case their cavalry comes from the left. I've got my heavy chariots along here, where hopefully we can get a bit more of an even ground for a proper charge. And where are you going? Come back! You were moving towards me before, now you're moving away. Battle lines are about to meet, and it looks like I've got the attention of the Velites. I've also decided to leave behind those wounded units of swordsmen because there'd be a weak point. Oh, no. There we go, they're frightened by the chariots. Oh, screw it, get in there. Okay, they're charging. Right, generals, get into those equites. You guys, hold your ground and perform a war cry. Let's go. And unfortunately my own formations have slightly blunted the charge. But either way, the generals are melting those equites. My heavy chariots are doing work. I could probably win this with just the chariots themselves. Okay, the equites, they've gone. And the infantry is already routing. Right, generals actually. Chase down that infantry. Okay, heavy chariots, get that. Yes! Marcus or Manius.
This is no longer a battle.
I didn't need the infantry. I just needed the chariots. I didn't even get to properly see what happened there. Sorry, infantry. I'm afraid you didn't really get to contribute much, but you were there, providing moral support with your war cry. That's the important thing. And we've got big masses of chariots like this. I'd say they're a bit more effective at running people down because they cover such a wide area. Come on, get that guy, get that guy, get that guy, get that guy, get that guy. Dead. Marvellous. We've just got 4 poor Velites left who are about to see a whole mass of chariots thundering down the hill. Well, now they're running towards the swordsmen. And now they've decided to turn back for whatever reason. It's not going to go well for them. dead. Take a look at that. 257 to 6. Only 4 men remaining. I think there was a couple of equites and generals' bodyguards. This army is going to be gone from the field. Yes, Belenus, you have successfully routed that entire army with absolutely minimal casualties, and we did get back one of our chariots. Good. The only people we lost there... Whoa. That's a big army of brigands. Where did you come from? Either way, next turn, these guys are no problem whatsoever. And Captain Placus isn't going to be able to do anything against garrisons of this size. So, Belenus is going to make his way towards the German city here. I'm probably going to send my generals over towards Massilia to start preparing. And, well, Carolus the Lewd. Interesting. Guessing he had some traits like Calpurnius had, where he was quite filthy-minded as such. Oh yeah, I just realised. He's picked up a Slubberdlum. Just can't hold his drink. Whatever. I've also just spoken with the Dacians, and they don't appear to be doing particularly well. They've got their capital here, which, going by the amount of devastation, has been under attack for a while. They're right next to the Scythians and the Macedonians, and then this territory here, next to the Dacians and the Macedonians and either the Germans or the Scythians up north, which means they've lost Byzantium and their territories here. Probably to the Macedonians. Yeah, it is to the Macedonians. So they're not going to be in the best of states. And Sam Arobruvia has finally gotten the population needed to become our, I think it's 3rd minor city? Yeah. Or just in barbarian terms, city. Which is excellent. These will be a good sort of front line against the Germans. Since I get the feeling once they take this territory, they could attack it, but these are more juicy targets. And yes, we are once again the strongest faction, as we should be. And Tara finally has a port, which means we can now start trading. And next, get a market so we can improve trade production even further, because Ireland really isn't good for anything apart from a minor amount of trade, and the Dacians in a bad way. Germany and Gaul. Germany, I really don't understand your thinking. You broke your alliance with a very strong nation, mine, to ally with a nation that's very weak, Gaul, because I've been conquering Gaul. Do you feel pity for the Gauls and want to help them? Either way, no one likes the Dacians anymore. The Romans are at war with them, the Scythians are no longer allied with them. Bad times to be Dacia. Either way though, we can't make it all the way to the German city or town, but we can get fairly close. It's quite well garrisoned. Right then, I'm glad I bought the little doom stack here. What's it got now? Self-restraint, very nice. So, espionage. Because I've been spying so many times, he's now picked up that trait. Seneculus, he's been spying everywhere. Either way, this is probably going to be like the Siege of Numantia in Spain, except this is probably going to be quite a bit tougher because they've got phalanx spearmen and chariots. If they can flank phalanxes, they're okay, but if they hit phalanxes dead on, if they even touch the spears, they die. So I'm going to need to be careful. Either way, the Siege of Lugdunum will be in the next episode, alongside with that rather large Gaelic army out there. And then, once that's clear and I secure my territory against the Germans, we will finally start to make our way towards Italy. I promise we will, unless something big happens, start moving on Italy next episode. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode of Rome Total War.